At the end of last year, I was doing a talk about hybrid to some finance people, and in the front row was a bloke who looked a little bit like Charles Dance,
Go on, say something clever.
wearing an extremely smart royal blue cashmere sweater. And as I spoke, he got crosser and crosser and crosser. I actually thought he might just explode at some point, but of course he waited until the host asked for any questions, and he was first with his hand up, and I thought, oh crikey, wonder what's going to happen here. As ever with these things, he did not have a question. He wanted to really have a go about why we were wasting our time talking about hybrid when the way that he had learned was turning up in the office every day, the way I had learned was turning up every day, and the way the next generation was going to learn is turning up every day. And somewhat disappointingly, the Financial Times has got on that bandwagon this week with a very odd piece about hybrid being over, based on productivity data from during remote that's a bit mixed and complicated anyway. The truth is that we don't have much hard data on how hybrid works at scale, because it's been done in smaller organisations but not over a long period of time, because we keep being sent home again. But based on the interviews we did in the autumn with people working in hybrid, there are some really clear themes about what seems to work better for individuals and teams. The first is that the best people to make decisions about working patterns are teams themselves, based on the roles, based on the individuals within them, based on where they live and all the different needs. Making a collective decision that works for as many people as possible is the place to start. Second up, counterintuitively, people generally seem to find it easier to be given days when they are encouraged or expected to be in the office, rather than being asked to choose 2 or 3 days themselves, which leads to a kind of cognitive overload and complications in their personal lives and home lives. So having fixed and predictable patterns is really valuable, and being very clear about what the office-based time is for. People get extremely frustrated when they come in, they do exactly what they would have done at home, and they've really no idea why they're there, particularly if when they go in they don't get any real benefit from it. But one thing to bear in mind is that actually choosing those days is really important. Otherwise you end up with this huge number of people in the middle of the week and you get overloads of meeting rooms. So actually putting in some controls that mean you do use the Mondays and Fridays and use that space so that it's effective is important. The last 2 things to think about are the explosion of communication. How can you help get that back into its box? Help people say no to meetings, shorten meetings, have meeting-free days, change communications platforms, say no to stuff, generally put boundaries around their comms, but also boundaries around their time. People at home are rubbish at taking control of their time. We know that. Now that might seem appealing to some bosses, they're just doing loads of hours, but actually we know it's unproductive, it leads to mistakes and burnout and lower energy. So helping people put starts and ends to the day, taking time out to do some deep work, taking breaks to do some exercise, all really important stuff to talk about and role model. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Kirsty Lewis. She's the founder of the School of Facilitation. I'm going to be talking to her about hybrid meetings. This is, of course, a different use of the word hybrid when we have some of the people in the room and some of the people online. Interestingly, if I'd have asked Kirsty a year ago how to run a hybrid meeting, she'd have said, don't bother, it doesn't work. But she and her team have learned a huge amount in the last year, and she's got some really practical actions and learnings to share with us. See you next Friday.